So a lot of time the parents know because originally the parents assisted the students in arranging the accommodations. But after that, unless they complete a FERPA form, we tell the parents that, we're more than happy to meet with the family if they would like to come in. If the student, would welcome that. But we won't share any information at that point. I know there's a lot of parents who want to know the grades and want to know how are things happening, how are things going in class, and we always will refer the student back to the parents. Now, again, your generation, there are a lot. I've been here, 28 years? First 20 years, most students would not allow us to speak to their parents. That idea of the helicopter parent, a lot more students have a closer relationship to their parents, so they tend to bring their parents in and we have discussions, and the FERPA form is always completed with the student, and at that point we provide information. I tend to try to have a conversation with the student to say, is there anything you do not want me to discuss? And most students are like, no, let's all be open. I want them to know that I'm doing the best I can and that I'm using the accommodations, and I think that really helps the parent and that helps the student. I'll tell you a quick story. I have a student struggling in math. The mom thought it was the teacher, it was the way things were doing, and as we met, the student and the parents and we learned that during the first half of the class, he did well. It's the second half where the depression took over, but he didn't realize until the end. So he thought it was really the teacher, but we determined that actually, as the class got harder, his anxiety built. And so we're going to try this again, but this time we're going to keep our eye, and the parents are going to keep their eyes out on him and see if we can assist him in getting through the class. FERPA is a family educational record. So it's a federal law that says that in order for an administrator to share any information with a parent or a guardian, the student has to provide us information. It's a one-pager. We would hand it to the registrar, or the student can hand it to us and we put it in and it just allows us to communicate. And the student can tell us exactly what we can share. So if you've decided, let's just talk about my classes but no grades, then we will not be able to share grades. Financial aid, and that's another one. Even though parents pay the tuition, we cannot have any discussions about, bills. So the student has to complete the form that says, hey, share what you need to share with our parents, and that's what the FERPA allows us, is to communicate with parents and guardians. I was a high school teacher in the 1980s, and a lot of parents back then were hands-off. Even as a high school teacher, trying to get parents to come to parents' meeting was very, very difficult. I even dealt with students. I remember too in my high school career, I taught for about 5 years that has some probably mental health issues, and it really was up to the school to really help and support both of those students. There was a 504 plan for both of the students, and we provided them some account, but they were very, very limited. Versus today, I have friends who are high school teachers. The amount of things that teachers do today versus back then is incredible. But it's because parents have become strong advocates, and parents, basically demand a lot more from us as institutions, both pre-high school, pre-college and college, to support their child.